Formula 1 has its first major tech controversy of the season after Aston Martin effectively revealed a B-spec car that looks an awful lot like Red Bull's title-challenging RB18. Aston Martin's upgraded AMR22 sparked an FIA investigation and has prompted Red Bull to start its own internal inquiry to determine whether any criminal offence has taken place. There is a lot to get through on this topic, from the similarities between the two cars to the contentious poaching of key Red Bull staff, and Aston Martin's argument that this is just, at heart, a big coincidence. Let's start by assessing how similar the Red Bull RB18 and the Aston Martin AMR22 actually are. Originally, they were very different, with Aston Martin's unique sidepod concept making it one of the most distinctive cars on the grid. All of that changed when Aston Martin's Spain upgrade broke cover, and it's easy to identify the similarities not only in the overall shape, but also many of the details of the package. The upgrade was extensive and included the floor, side pods, engine cover, rear wing, beam wing and halo fairing. Much of that upgrade appeared to be inspired by the Red Bull RB18, something Aston Martin emphatically denies is the case. Before we get into the detail, the race did ask Aston Martin Chief Technical Officer Andy Green to run through points of difference between his car and the Red Bull after qualifying. He listed a multitude of areas like the front wing, suspension, rear brake ducts, power unit and cooling system, although did accept that the team has adopted the same philosophy of downwashing in the side pods used by Red Bull and others, including Alpine and Alfa Romeo. So it's to the side pods that we must look. Aston Martin now has a deep angled undercut side pod, which replaces the old version in which the undercut continued more or less the full length of the side pod. This new design generates outwash and scavenges airflow from the front corner of the underfloor, generating downforce. This is markedly similar to the Red Bull, as are the downwash channels on the top of the side pods. The whole shape of the side pods is similar, meaning the cooling louvres are also configured in the same way as those on the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri, despite running the Mercedes rather than Honda power unit. However, there is a difference in the radiator configuration. Originally, Aston Martin had a near horizontal radiator in the side pod, but it's now more steeply inclined a la Mercedes. In fact, it's steeper than that of the Red Bull, supporting Green's argument about differences in the cooling system, as you would expect for different power units. Looking at the front of the Venturi tunnels, the outer two of the permitted 4 vertical vanes have been extended Red Bull style. Further back in the floor, the shape of both the body and the edges are very similar, although the cutout just below the A in the Cognizant logo has a very different shape. Towards the rear of the car, the exit of the engine cover is the same square shape as that of the Red Bull, and even the wing mirrors are mounted in a strikingly similar way. What we have yet to see is the shape of the underfloor, which is crucial to this generation of ground effect cars. But given this works hand in hand with what is visible, it seems likely there will be further similarities with Red Bull there. Andy Green doesn't deny that the RB18 has influenced the upgraded AMR22, but with 2 important caveats. The first is, he says this only happened after the Red Bull broke cover in public, indicating Aston Martin had no prior knowledge of the design and therefore it took any inspiration legally. The second caveat is that it was only aerodynamic surfaces around the side pods that have been copied in any way, as Aston Martin insists it is just coincidence its B-spec AMR22 had a similar downwashing concept to Red Bull in the first place. Green says that the majority of the car upgrade was committed to before anybody from Red Bull joined the team. He also argued that the revised AMR22 was first conceived as one of 2 designs that Aston Martin initially developed in tandem last year. Our technical expert Gary Anderson, who was Green's boss way back when Team Silverstone was first founded as Jordan, was particularly curious about this supposed dual development path, so we put a question to Green on Gary's behalf. He explained that as teams were designing cars to all new technical regulations for 2022, Aston Martin wasn't sure which car concept would be best and had 2 development paths open. By August 2021, Aston Martin says it had the 2 projects running together for 7 or 8 months, and both had shown different traits. The team had to decide which one to develop further, as it couldn't continue to run them both at the same time. The design Aston Martin started the season with was actually showing poor handling characteristics during development, but was apparently generating a huge amount of downforce. So Green says that Aston Martin got greedy, chasing peak downforce in the belief it could iron out the car's other problems further in the development phase. Unfortunately, the weaknesses of this car became quite apparent, and Aston Martin had already feared it had made the wrong choice even before it was launched. Its concerns were then reinforced when the Red Bull appeared for the first time at the pre-season test in Spain, with the concept Green's team had apparently also considered. Green actually said he was surprised when the Red Bull was launched that its design was so similar to the one Aston Martin was working on independently. The expected limitations of the car Aston Martin had chosen to develop were then compounded by additional problems on track. Aston Martin tried to resolve them, but it was a dead end. The setup options were very limited for the launch car, which had to be run super stiff and at an increased ride height to avoid aggressive porpoising. The team scored just 6 points in the first 5 races with this troubled car, but by this time it had long since committed to bringing the so-called B-spec car, the other concept it had initially developed for the Spanish Grand Prix. Green said that this couldn't have been a wholesale copy of the Red Bull because the process of having a second completely different car to switch to needed to start months before that. With the budget cap in place, it would either not have been possible or it would have wiped out the year's development budget. You might remember from Aston Martin's launch that there was a lot of talk about the team making its design flexible. This related to making sure the chassis itself could easily take the other car concept without needing a redesign of core architecture. For example, one chassis could accommodate 2 different cooling systems. So Aston Martin is adamant its car concept was developed independently. Then when it saw Red Bull's RB18 had the same philosophy around the side pods, it took inspiration from the aerodynamic details around that area. In 2020, under Aston Martin's previous identity as Racing Point, the Silverstone team was hit with a 15-point penalty and a €400,000 fine for illegally copying the 2019 Mercedes. The FIA's investigation found that the car had been mostly cloned legitimately through the study of images and the legal use of parts that were allowed to be purchased from Mercedes, except for the rear brake ducts. If you want to learn more about that specific case, check out this video we made at the time. Most relevant to now is that this incident prompted the FIA to revise its regulations specifically to stop the potential illegal transfer of intellectual property and the process of reverse engineering another design. The FIA has explicitly outlawed reverse engineering in 4 ways: converting images for CAD manipulation, the use of 3D cameras, any form of surface scanning, and any technique that projects points or curves on a surface to facilitate the reverse engineering process. Broadly, this means you're allowed to look at a competitor's car and try and copy ideas based on that, but any form of direct or indirect measurement is outlawed. It's down to the FIA to determine whether any resemblance is the result of reverse engineering or of legitimate independent work. The FIA is empowered to request any appropriate data or information to make this determination, and it has already been through this process with the AMR22. FIA officials noticed during a routine pre-event legality check of the Aston Martin upgrades that a number of features resembled those of another competitor, which we obviously know is Red Bull. CAD designs were checked, and a detailed analysis of the development process adopted by Aston Martin confirmed to the FIA that no wrongdoing had been committed. So in the eyes of the FIA, all good. But this didn't end there, because Red Bull is not just annoyed that Aston Martin may have replicated part of its design, it's evidently suspicious of how the team has achieved that. Aston Martin's expansion in recent years has included a significant recruitment process and bolstering of its senior technical team, specifically with big name hires from Red Bull's aerodynamics department. This includes Andrew Alessi joining as Aston Martin's head of technical operations, and the drawn out process of hiring Red Bull's aerodynamic chief Dan Fallows to be technical director. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner said the transfer of staff in recent months is not a coincidence, and that it would be illegal if those staff members took data with them, as he admitted that bringing ideas across in their heads is fair game. Alarm bells were first raised at Red Bull when the FIA informed the team in the days before Barcelona that Aston Martin's upgrades resembled the RB18. The team then responded to the FIA's initial statement by saying it noted it with interest and stressing it would be a serious concern if there had been any IP transfer. Unsurprisingly, Aston Martin has hit back hard over Red Bull's implications. Green said he's disappointed with that interpretation, especially as the FIA has investigated the matter and published a statement legitimising the Aston Martin process. He has flat out denied that Aston Martin may have received any data from any team or individual and pointed to the FIA's investigation, which included interviews with those involved in the design. Green has welcomed further investigations by the FIA, while Red Bull will conduct an internal investigation of its own, using its own software protection protocols to make sure that no criminal offence was committed by staff that left the team to join Aston Martin. Horner said that while the FIA has accepted what Aston Martin has presented, if any evidence of foul play came to light, it becomes a different issue. He also seems to have attempted to flush out support from midfield teams that are Aston Martin's immediate rivals. The debut of the new AMR22 was underwhelming, as the team knows so little about how to get it working properly and also didn't bring a good enough cooling package for the unusually hot Spanish Grand Prix weekend. So Aston Martin actually regressed compared to its recent performances, and it's still not a Red Bull competitor for now. But the better it does, the more attention it will get. So this is both the first big tech controversy of F1 2022 and the first real test of the FIA's anti-copying regulations and its ability to police them. For now, the onus is on Red Bull to find something that challenges the FIA's own findings, otherwise Aston Martin will be in the clear and feel entirely vindicated.